Okay, so this video is going to be about how to make your first $10,000 a month online. Now, it's not going to be about any specific business model. I'm not here to shill you a course or anything like that. It's going to be about 6, maybe more, maybe less, things that I think everybody needs to implement in their life in order to actually make that a reality. So the first thing that I want to talk about is having the right mindset. And I know it sounds cliche, it sounds very cliche, but if you're thinking like a broke person, then you are gonna stay broke. And simply put, the first step of making 10K a month online is not by learning a skill, but it's by rewiring your brain. And the reason why I say that is because if you work on rewiring your brain, then learning that skill is gonna be super easy for you. So stop thinking about how badly you need to make money and start thinking more about how can I become of value to somebody? Because at the end of the day, you get paid in direct proportion to how valuable you are or how big the problems you solve are. Meaning if you work at McDonald's, you're getting paid minimum wage because you're not that valuable. You're very easily replaceable. However, if you're an engineer at a company like Meta, you are invaluable because you've spent years on crafting the skills that you need in order to get that role. And so there isn't one particular skill that you need, but actually various skills that you need. So if you want to become very valuable, think of it like this. Knowledge leads to experience and experience leads to wisdom. Now, the people that get paid the most are able to think outside the box. And in order to think outside the box, you need to accumulate as much knowledge as possible because, like I said, knowledge leads to experience, it leads to wisdom. And once you acquire that wisdom, which is at the top of the stack that I just mentioned, you're gonna be able to innovate. Now, let me talk about this in a more applicable form. So when you're making content on Instagram, if you try to be creative right off the bat with no experience, you're probably gonna get no views because you haven't developed an understanding of how the platform works. And so this is why I always say steal like an artist, because I want you to copy what works and consciously understand why it works. Now, once you start posting, you're gonna start to realize what's working and what's not working, and more importantly, understand why it's working or not working. And as you're developing that understanding, you're gonna be able to realize how you can innovate on top of your competitors. The only way you're gonna be able to innovate is by spending time testing and trying. So you need to have the mindset when you go into anything that even if you fail, it doesn't matter because you're accumulating this knowledge, accumulating this experience, which will then turn to wisdom and innovation. Something else you have to understand is your current financial situation is the result of your current thinking patterns. Simply put, if you're gonna consistently do the same things that you're doing right now, your tomorrow is gonna be the same as today. A lot of people are uncomfortable with change. You have to become extremely comfortable with change. Because at the end of the day, yes, consistency is good, but if you're consistently doing the wrong thing, it's never gonna get you anywhere. As an example, on Instagram, if you're posting content and you're consistently posting content, but you're getting 100, 200 views, then something has to change. If you don't change the content, you're gonna consistently get 100, 200 views. So when you're consistent, what you should be always doing is reevaluating yourself. Am I actually growing every single day? If not, something needs to change. And when you're experiencing those problems, that's one of the best places that you can be because that signifies growth. Wealthy people see problems as opportunities and broke people see problems as roadblocks. So when you're experiencing these problems, understand that these problems are gonna make you better tomorrow. And the more problems and the more failures that you face on the day-to-day will give you the wisdom to push forward tomorrow and become better. So not only are you now consistent, but you're also learning every single day and you're optimizing. This is why you see people that were broke just a couple years ago very wealthy today. Because when you consistently do this every single day, you're not going up like this, but you're going up like this. Meaning it's a slow start, it's hard to gain momentum, but one day you're gonna shoot up and you're gonna be like, oh shit, I'm rich. The second thing I wanna talk about is learning how to sell. Now, you can have the best product in the world, you can be the most creative and innovative person, but if you don't know how to sell it, you're gonna stay broke. Now, here's why selling is the only skill that directly puts money in your bank account. And it doesn't matter which business model that you choose. Selling shouldn't be seen as manipulative. It should be seen as solving a problem the consumer already has. An example of this on Instagram and why I love content so much is because you push out the content for your ideal audience. If you push out content and get the ideal audience through the door, then you're gonna be able to present them with your solution, which is gonna be the product. Every successful person I know knows how to sell. knows how to market, and more specifically, knows how to get their ideal audience in front of their product. A lot of people think that just because you get millions of views, you're gonna make millions of dollars. But that's not the case, because if you don't get the right views, you're not gonna make the sales. And so you have to understand, number one, who the person you're speaking to is, and number two, how to get yourself in front of them. And funny enough, you're probably already selling every single day. For example, trying to convince your friends to go out to party, trying to convince your partner to go out to this restaurant with you, getting hired for jobs, trying to get that dream girl or boy or whatever. You're gonna have to master a couple of things here. If you want to sell anything, you have to, number one, understand your prospect. Number two, understand your product. And number three, figure out how to connect the two. The way I do it is I use content as my main pillar. I attract the ideal audience and I sell a product, a solution to the problem that the audience is facing. Simple as that. So your income is directly proportional to your ability to not only influence and persuade, but get yourself in front of the right people. Now, the third thing I'm gonna talk about is a high income skill and also skill accumulation. This is very important. Your job is gonna pay you enough to survive, but a high income skill is gonna pay you enough to thrive. Here's the difference. A high income skill could be copywriting, sales, content, coding, learning how to use AI. If you want to make money, you should be focused on learning skills that directly impact the revenue of a business. Because if you focus on this, you'll understand how much impact you're actually providing. It's quantifiable. Literally, if you go on YouTube and you watch a video about any business model, the way to make money is to get customers. And this kind of ties into my previous point, but literally if you go on YouTube and watch any video about any business model, you always need to get the customer to buy, or else you're not gonna make any money. And the way to do that is by hyper-focusing on one skill that gets the customer through the door. Your skill at this determines your income ceiling, so get good at this first. Now, I don't wanna talk too much about Instagram automation, but let's look at a couple other business models. Let's say you were a remote sales closer. If you practice this skill, your income is really dependent based on how many sales that you can make in a day, and you get commissions on all those sales. Let's say you were a dropshipper. When you're dropshipping, your goal is to put out content that acquires customers at the cheapest cost, and that reflects directly with your profit margins on your store. So if you get really good at these skills, whether it be closing on high ticket sales calls or making creatives for your dropshipping store, the more knowledge you have means the more experience you have, means the more wisdom you have to innovate. That will reflect directly to how much you are actually making with these business models. The fourth thing that I want to talk about is your environment, and more specifically, spending time with the right people. Now, you've probably heard this saying, but you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. So if your friends are broke, you're probably going to be broke too. Your environment either elevates you or is holding you back. And I know this might be a tough pill to swallow, but there is no neutral. Unfortunately, in my experience, back in 2020, I had to push myself away from all my friends that were in college and working jobs because I didn't want to go down that path. Now, of course, I lost a lot of friends in the process, but I'm very glad I did it because now I can live the life that I always wanted. And even if you don't realize it, broke friends will unconsciously sabotage your success. Like they always say, misery loves company. So find people that are already making 10K a month and stick with them. Now, it might be hard to find people like this on the street, but that's why there's so many great online communities out there, whether they be free Facebook groups or paid mentorships. I personally invested tens of thousands of dollars into mentorships. And even last week, I invested $12.5 thousand in a new one, because I know that in order to become better, I need to constantly invest myself and constantly surround myself by the right people. And unfortunately, sometimes you have to pay for these things. So buy online courses, join communities, go to networking events, and I wouldn't be telling you to do this if I don't do this myself. Funny enough, I went to an event in 2020 in Miami, and it was one of the best experiences that I had. Now, I had to spend a couple $1,000s getting there, paying for the event, but if I didn't go there, I have no idea where I would be right now. I might be working a job at IBM or TD Bank, corporate, 9 to 5, hating my life. But when I went to that event, funny enough, I leveled up my mindset so much that I ended up dropping out of school, and that kind of led me to where I am today, making millions of dollars online, doing whatever I want, whenever I want. You need to surround yourself who talk about opportunities and not obstacles. So it is very true that your network determines your net worth. And like I said, it might be hard to push yourself away from friends, especially family, but it's worth it. So please, please, please do not limit your potential and just go and do it. Now, the fifth thing that I want to talk about is to focus on one thing. The reason why you're not making 10K a month yet is because you've tried so many different business models, but the problem is not the business models that you tried. It's because you're investing a couple hours here, a couple hours there, failure after obstacle, and you just quit. And you move on to the next thing. Here's why focus is actually your secret weapon. Take it from me, shiny object syndrome keeps you broke, and every new opportunity actually resets your progress. For me, I had a bunch of different business models that I tried. I tried drop shipping, I tried selling on Etsy, I tried Redbubble, I even tried to run Minecraft servers to make money. And here's the thing, the problem was not trying any of those business models because whichever one I chose, I could probably succeed in. The problem was the hours that I spent and the amount of failures that I dealt with. I didn't deal with nearly enough failures that you should because, like I said, obstacles are failures. And the more failures that you work on solving, the more experience you're gonna have under your belt. Once you deal with these failures, they're probably not gonna happen again. And oftentimes you have to deal with hundreds of failures and hundreds of obstacles before you see success. That's the reality of it. So try something for at least 100 hours. And if you don't make your first dollar in 100 hours, sure, quit. But I guarantee you, you're gonna make money if you put 100 hours into something. At the end of the day, what is that, like 3-4 hours a day? And for those of you that are watching that are already making money online, do not jump ship. I've done this so many times in my career where I saw a shining object because I spotted the opportunity. The only way that you can spot new opportunity in the market is if you have experience as a business owner. And I also see so many entrepreneurs make this mistake where they're like, okay, I'm gonna jump into crypto. I already know how to make money. I'm gonna make more money here. And then they jump ship on their existing business, which means they have to start from zero. Whereas if they just focused on the business that they were growing, and in business, if you consistently work on your business, you're gonna see exponential success. Even if it's not the business that you're looking to run for the next 5-10 years, just run it for a couple years, get rich, and then you can spot new opportunity in the market, invest in businesses, and just live the life that you want to live. But do not jump ship if you're not at the 10K a month mark at least. I wouldn't even jump ship if you were at the 10K mark. I would scale that as much as possible. So again, focus on one thing because the market rewards specialists and not generalists. Just become undeniably good at that one thing and see where it takes you. Even if you don't love it, even if you don't have a passion for it, who cares? Just be disciplined, screw motivation, put in the work every single day, see how far you can take it, fall in love with the game, and I guarantee you, this is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Once you're sitting on a bunch of cash, then you could spot new opportunity. And the sixth and final thing that I want to talk about is that money loves speed. And to be honest, this is why most people fail with online business. It's because they take way too long trying to make one decision. And I can tell exactly who those people are by how long they take to respond to my text. I'm constantly responding to people every single day, making decisions. I make more decisions in a day than you probably make in a month. You've been sitting here watching so many make money online YouTube videos where the person that probably took action made their first couple $1,000s. So you need to move with urgency. You need to move with urgency. And the reality of it is, smart people stay broke because they need to analyze every decision that they make. You're here analyzing, consuming, while somebody is out there producing every single day constantly and stacking up those failures. And they're the ones that are winning, not you, because you're here waiting for the perfect opportunity. You have to normalize imperfect action. Speed beats perfection every single time. You can fix things as you go, but you cannot fix not starting. Now, the crazy part about this is in 2025, we have so many AI tools that are coming out that are making this so easy for you, that are allowing you to move faster, and you're not leveraging them. And if you're sitting here asking, which AI tool do I use? Just fucking look. There's hundreds of them out there. Figure out the use case of the AI tool. Go on ChatGPT, ask it what AI tools accomplish this certain task, and go and learn it, go and use it. These days, there's no excuse for slow execution. Money rewards urgency, not intelligence. So if you're dumb, if you have a low IQ, have a low IQ, that's great. If you have a high IQ, understand that you do not have to be perfect. Be fast, be first, be fearless, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.